necessarily reflect those of ParaX, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
The Calling 2.0.
Hello, everybody. This is Jerry with yay with the Calling 2.0, and with me, of course, is Valentina. What's happening, kiddo?
I'm back.
You're back like a bad penny?
Hi,
Is that what this
kids. No. Yes, I'm back.
So, what's new?
Oh, well, a lot has happened. No.
I heard that you moved to Minnesota.
Yeah, in your dream. No, I am temporarily in Maine for the month. I thought I would try something new, so I took a house dog sitting job. And so, yes, so here I am. Really, really awesome to be in a state that I've always seen, filmed in movies and TV shows. And, it looked so quaint that I was like, oh, I think I want to put myself there. So here I am. And it's a town of about 800 people. So everyone's going to know who I am by the end of the month. But
I can see you. You're the type of person to be like, hi, can I give you a reading? Hi, can I give you? No, I'm just kidding.
I stick out like a sore thumb here. So, yeah, but no, it's nice to be here. It's definitely a lot cooler. It's in the high 60s to 70s, which is fabulous after leaving 98 degrees in Florida. And yeah, I mean, it's just woods everywhere, woods, lakes, trees. It just feels so good. It just feels so alive and connected. So, yes.
That's good. That's good. That's really good, actually. So you went through a lot of historic places on your way up there.
Yes. So I only ended up doing, I think it was about 26 hours. I broke that up into 3 days. And the first stop was Myrtle Beach, which I don't know really why I picked there. I just thought that was 8 hours into the trip. So I thought I would be there. Stayed at a 2-star hotel. I was on the beach, but it was 2 stars and it was noisy and the floor was leaking. So not the best experience. I thought I was losing my mind. Like there was water all over the floor. So I wiped it. And about 10 minutes later, there's water all over the floor again. I was like, is this paranormal? Is this bad plumbing? I think it's bad plumbing. So onward to ended up in Massachusetts because I wanted to go to Salem, another bucket list. Wait, was I? No, I'm sorry. Let's rewind. I went to Gettysburg first.
Okay, there you go. I was just going to say.
I was like, I don't know states. I really wanted to go there because, I've seen that fascinating footage of that couple that sat in the car and all of a sudden this guy just comes out by the cannons with a musket and his full-on soldier outfit. And I was like, I want to experience that. So we parked. The park is relatively large. There's all sorts of statues everywhere. There's a guided tour. I didn't know where the auto tour was, where you could actually just drive your car through. So I parked somewhere random and ran across the street to the battlefield and just walked around. And it was so far out. I was getting tired and it was hot a little bit. So I just walked around and looked at the statues. There was a lot to read. And that park closed at 6, or sunset. So I don't know if you could really hide out or sit in your car. I don't know what the rules are, but I imagine some of the stuff would happen when it gets dark. And that's when you get kicked out of the park. So my plan was to find a hotel in downtown Gettysburg and then try to sneak back and roam around because I'm a rebel like that. But I really couldn't even figure out where downtown Gettysburg was, and I was getting kind of antsy. So I decided to just leave. But in leaving, I looked over and there were all these tents right on the battlefield. And I was like, oh man, this must be like a camping ghost tour where you get to stay in a tent or something like that. I'll have to look at the website to see, but that looked like a lot of fun just to camp out on the Gettysburg field. So lots of options there, I'm sure. But I don't really know the rules as to how to get back over there at nighttime. So I headed on and found some little hotel near Salem. And then the next morning I went to Salem and ran around, and that was such a blast. So much fun.
Well, I know someone that went there, and they were very nervous about going to Gettysburg, and then they don't want me to mention their name because of the illegal stuff they did when they were there. But anyway, so they got there, they went on this tour thing, and they were shocked that, you can't do this, you can't do that. They said, I'm sure that, they want to save everything to be as pristine, as it is right now and stuff. But they walked through this open field on one side, or not, I'm sorry, wooded area. And they just kept walking through it and stuff. And they didn't know if they were supposed to be there or not because it wasn't part of anything. It wasn't fenced off or anything like that. Well, the next thing you know, they found themselves pretty much on the battlefield. And there was a fence in this tree, very old tree. They both fell asleep at the tree. And from what she says is that the girl that was with her woke up and then looked right at her friend and said, I think it's okay we stay here. And she's like, what? She says, because that guy over there said it was okay. And when she looked up, there was a man standing there in full Confederate attire and stuff. And she said it was just amazing. But when they left there and stuff, then they got kind of yelled at, and they said, well, one of the actors or whatever you want to call them, they said, there's no one else here. There's just us. And then the girl couldn't remember what that ghost, if you want to call it or whatever, even said to her. And they tried to get it back again by going to another tree and sitting by it and stuff the next day, but it never happened. But she says that it for sure is one of the most incredible experiences that they ever had there. And they're not ones that I know of to ever kind of make up stuff or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
love to go.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was walking the dog, so, I kind of had to keep track of her, and she's a little spaz. So there wasn't really time to get out a recorder. All I could do was, videotape with a phone and just have one hand for one piece of equipment. And that is the incense smoke, you guys, when you watch this video. Nothing super natural here. It's just my incense. We're going to move it out of the way so we don't mistake it for orbs.
There you go.
But yeah, I was a little, and I pulled out the obelisk real quick, and it said 100, which I know it says a lot. So, and I know that there was thousands that were killed, so 100 didn't even make sense. And then it said one more word, I can't remember, and then that was it. So did not really. I think I was mostly disappointed that it was just such a rush job to go there, But at least I went there, and I'm grateful for that. And I got to see Salem. And so I knocked 2 things out of the park, and then this today at noon, I went over and checked out Bangor because I wanted to see Stephen King's house and found it, right away. And so there was already other people. I imagine people stop by there every single day because I pulled up and I was like, this must be the place because there's a lot of people taking pictures of some house. I hadn't seen the house yet, but I knew as soon as I saw people pointing, I'm like, this must be the house. And then I looked and I was like, oh my God, that house is ginormous. And it's so gorgeous. And it's got this black, crazy gate with gargoyles and bats and true Stephen King fashion. So I had to I was like touching and rubbing on the gates. I was like, Stephen King, give me
So
something.
you put your scent over everything.
Yes. And then I was like, maybe he's there because the gate was open. I'm like, maybe he's going to look out the window and go, who's that crazy girl?
You know what? If the gate was open and if Stephanie was with you, Steph would have said, well, the gate's open. We can go in there. Doesn't say no trespassing.
There's 3 signs that say, you're on camera, do not, trespass, even if the gate is open. But here's the crazy thing. So what I heard is he lives in Florida, like an hour below me. So I'm going to go on to Florida house now. I'm going to find out. I go to check him out over here in Maine, and it turns out he lives in Florida, that little bugger. So I need to go find out where he is in Florida. But he's like in Sarasota or something. So, and I'll find him. It's gonna be a quest for Stephen.
God. So have you found Lauren Coleman's place?
What's that?
His museum.
What's the Lauren? What? Who's that?
Lauren Coleman. He is the head of cryptozoology here in the United States.
Oh, no, I've not. You never gave me that information like you were supposed to.
Well, all right. 2003, he was in Portland, Maine. But I thought they moved to Bangor.
Yeah, no, I did not. I did go to Portland, Maine, because that was the last official store before I drove myself to Neverland here, where there's no store. So
there's no stores? What?
Oh, there is a one little gas station, and it's one gas tank, just like, those ones you see in the movies. It's just one little lone gas tank, gas pump. There's one little place I ate. The hotel here is closed. I mean, it is a shut down town, not even
wow.
There's nothing. So I had to go to Whole Foods and pick up all my smoothie stuff and everything I needed for an entire month in case we get snowed in.
Don't say that.
Oh, we're going to get hurricane in first. Come Saturday, there's a hurricane again hitting.
Gotcha. Okay, I just looked it up. It's in Portland, Maine, Bangor.
It can't be in both. Bangor is an hour from me. Portland, Maine is like nearly 3 hours from me. There's a big difference.
Okay. Well, Portland, Maine, and Bangor, Maine.
Oh, he has 2 offices.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. I forgot how to read hyphens. Or commas.
Commas. Yeah, you don't even know what they're called. Yeah, so yeah, it's been good so far.
Well, good. So now, when you were in Salem, did you take any kind of sights in or anything?
I went to the graveyards of the cemetery there and looked and walked around. It's kind of overwhelming, because you've got the trolley going by, you've got walking tours, you've got the cemetery, you've got all these stores with psychic readers, it's just, and everybody's like dressed up as witches walking around. It's like people are so into it. It's like everybody's in black or they're all gothy. So I'm just like looking right and left and, didn't really know where to go. But then I saw that one store that had the aura photography, which I've always wanted to do. So I thought, this is a good time, might as well do it while it's here. It was a big sign. So I thought, well, it's in my face. I should go in and do that. And so I did. And I was just expecting, like I said, just to get an aura photo and be done, and off I go, and thanks a lot, where's the incense? I'm going to buy some incense, and Did not expect that the photo was going to be all blue, which represents my psychic gifts. And then there was a little green blob on the left of me. And I asked the woman, I said, what's this little green blob over here? Without even missing a beat, she says, there's a older woman that has passed who says she's always with you. And at that point, I completely lost it because that was my mother. And she didn't even, I didn't tell her anything about that. And it was just this beautiful validation that, you know, I mean, I've always suspected, but to see it in a photo energetically, you know, was just amazing. And so I'm going to get a frame for that picture, but I did not stop looking at that picture all day long, you know, to look at that little green spot. That's my mother right next to me. And it made me so happy, but also, you know, so sad. It was like a bittersweet kind of moment because I was just like, it was hard not to. I don't know. It's just weird. There's a lot of weird emotions when that happened. You know, it's happy, but sad, but happy. And, you know, but yeah, so that was really, really cool. And then really nothing could top that. I was on cloud 9 after that.
Oh, I'm sure you were.
Yeah, I've seen everything now. I got myself a hoodie and that was like about it. And then it was raining. So I went over and got some coffee at this cute little place. And that was it. And then, oh yeah, and then took the trolley ride, which actually was really fun because it was almost an hour long, and they just went through the town on the trolley. You got to see a lot of things that they pointed out. So I really recommend the trolley ride. You know, I didn't learn much about the witch trials or anything like that, but it definitely was informative as far as the buildings and things like that. It was really good.
Nice. So Aura, right? Aura. Okay, your dog was
Yes.
with you the whole entire time.
Yes, Aura was with me during the Aura photography. Well, I put her down. I didn't want that. You're not allowed to do dogs. I said, "Can you do the dog? I'll pay extra." But they're like, "Yeah, we can't do dogs because you have to when you do the Aura photography, you have to put your hands down on these things, and of course they can't do that with the paws." But it would have been interesting to see what, you know, a pet has for an Aura. I think that would have been cool. But yeah, she was really good. She sat in the little pouch like she always does, and we just explored, and it was really fun. It was so weird because during the tour, apparently we drove by this island that they would put kids that had tuberculosis and stuff, or kids that were bad. They got exiled and put on this island. Their answer to everything was either the kids got put on an island and they were like an island jail, or people were hung. There was like 2 choices. Every answer for everything was like hung. All right.
Kids
hung.
were hung too?
Hung. What?
Kids were hung too?
Yeah, some of the kids were hung. I mean, it seems to be the answer to everything. You cheat, you're hung. You're a witch, you got hung. You have tuberculosis, you get hung. It was just like, it was so weird. I mean, I'm not laughing, but I mean, it was just, you know, back
Right.
it was so primitive. It was just a very simple answer. And we drove by like, you know, those shackles where you put your head in. Yeah, I mean, it's so back then was so primitive. It was just cut and dry, you know. You don't get to argue your case. You were hung, set on fire, end of story.
Wow. That's crazy.
Harsh.
Yeah, that's major harsh.
Yeah.
Wow. So did you buy any good books from there?
Well, actually, funny you said that. I did get the 4 Agreements, which had been in my Amazon wish list, and it was there, so I got that. That was it. I mean, really, it was a hoodie and the 4 Agreements book. I was looking for incense because, you know, I'm looking for new incense, but the store I went to just had crystals and no incense. And
No incense? I've never.
I know.
That's weird.
So weird. They
Usually
had
you got all that stinky stuff just kind of lit up and
it was crystals, it was, you know, aura photography, it was psychic readers and tarot cards, like of all sorts. So and then the other stores, there would be some stores that were just all bat things. Then there'd be one that was all witchy things. So some of them look super dark and gothy. I didn't really want to go in there because that's not really my thing, witches and stuff and gothy things. So yeah, but it was, keep in mind, it was drizzling off and on, and then it really started pouring. So I was probably there for about 2 hours until I just had had enough, and I just kind of wanted to get going because that was my last stop, and I still had to probably drive another 5 hours
Wow.
to my location and still get groceries and then move forward. So keep in mind, I'm on a little tiny peninsula. I'm off of a main interstate. You have to take little windy road all the way around the island, and it's getting dark. There's no street lights, so sometimes I get antsy when I want to get to my location. So I'm like,
Oh, we all do.
yeah,
We
right.
all do,
And
yeah.
the road trip for 3 days was fun, but I'd had enough of being in the car. So
how long did it take you?
I wish I had stopped and started a timer on my phone, because the first leg was 8 hours, then it was like 11 hours, and then another 8 hours. So
Wow.
16. So yeah, 16 plus 11, 37 hours. 37 hours. I don't know. But I mean, it from LA to Florida took me 31 hours. But I mean, I drove all night. I was flying. I even drove the first stretch was 15 hours. So, yeah. So it should have been a lot less than the LA to Florida trip. So I don't know how it became a little bit more, but probably because I went up to Pennsylvania instead of cutting through. I went up to Pennsylvania and then back down on my planned road. So these detours cost me a few more hours, but going back, we'll see how long it takes me. Shouldn't take me that long.
No, it's because gravity. You're going down.
I'll be in a rush to see my own bed.
I suppose. So now the place that you're living in is how old is it that you're staying in?
So the town, if you Google, is actually America's first town, and I'm seeing signs around that say 17 something, and so it's quite old. I mean, it's like Pilgrim old, Mayflower old. So I mean, there's quite a bit. They have the Maritime Marine Museum Academy or something like that. I have no idea what that is, but it seems very busy. So I like to see a lot of young kids learning about, marine biology and things like that. So that's probably what the place has to offer, is that academy. And then there's been quite a bit of colonels and armies and things that have come through here, according to the signs. So yeah, it's pretty old. Now the house I'm in, I don't know when it was built. It doesn't look as old as some of the other houses. Yeah, but I mean, the architecture of these other houses is definitely like Little House on the Prairie old. Maybe, I mean, that kind of, it's like really, it's so funny because the way the houses are built here, it's very, I think I want to call it New Englandy, but the houses are really big and really tall, and they have like 3 stories, and they're very pointy and very square. Not like houses these days that have arches and curves and stuff. All of this looks very sorry, Aura's doing something. What are you eating? Yeah. I hear a sound behind me, and it's like I need to look.
It's just a rat, no problem.
Don't say that. I don't want any rats. Yeah, but it's definitely pretty. The house is right on the water, some sort of pond or something. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be exploring. There's a lot of abandoned houses, and I'm like, oh, should I go in there with myself and the dog, and just to see if I get some EVPs? That would be exciting.
Right.
But they also look like if I walked in there, the whole roof might fall down on me. So it's kind of.
Is your insurance paid up?
You have a hard hat. Yeah.
Well, you should check a few out. I mean, you don't have to go inside. You can kind of peek in and stuff and
take some pictures on the outside. Maybe something will appear in the window. Yeah, but I'm excited. I mean, there's a ton of abandoned, and these houses all look like they have history because they're ginormous. And so yeah, it should be fun. Definitely a urban explorer's paradise, because you can go to these houses and I don't think anyone would notice or mind. So
Well, now, in Salem, did they kind of play it up where they had like, oh, lamplighters and stuff like that?
What's a lamplighter?
That's they had those back in the day where, at nighttime that they would light
Oh,
the lamps.
I didn't see any of that. That doesn't mean that there wasn't any. I'm just saying that I didn't see any of that. I mean,
Because
I didn't stay to watch it transition into night. So,
right, I was told that a friend of mine, when he and she actually went out to Salem, they weren't really impressed with the stuff that was that people had to talk about. They
yeah.
like going on their own and seeing it and stuff. They did talk to a lamplighter, and the
Ah.
lamplighter said at nighttime is when things happen that they just don't know how to put it into words.
Oh.
They said that they don't really talk about it with people because they don't want to have a bunch of people out there doing like an investigation and stuff,
Right.
and especially saying that that guy there told me, that type of thing. But I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, the locals will have a little more heads up on the secretive places and the inside scoop versus the tour person that's just going to spit out a script. But yeah, I mean, I made it quick. I may stop in on the way back. I'll have to see because that's only 4 hours from here, so it's a little too short of a trip to already be there. But plus the hotels were like really expensive, like $300 a night. So I'm not
God.
like really, that was like insane because they can, that's why they're doing that.
Yeah,
They
that's
can.
true. Well,
It's even on hotels.com. So
it's a good old American way.
yeah, so I'm not quite sure if I will, overnight there and then I could run around a little more. So to be continued, we don't know yet.
Gotcha. I'll be darned. Well, that's pretty cool. It sounds like, that's one thing I'd like to do is not really have a plan thing. Just
Yeah.
start taking off and, kind of choose a direction, go that way, drive for 5 hours and then stop and then stay at whatever town I come to and then do some, checking out, investigating or whatever, or just trying to find urban legends from around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I try to stay in the fashion of my mother because that's what we would always do these 3-month road trips, my mother, my grandmother, and I. And the whole name of the game was get up in the morning, stop somewhere for lunch, stop for afternoon coffee. And then when it got dark, wherever we ended up when it got dark, we would just find a hotel and then that was it. And we would
Right.
alternate between America and driving all over Europe. And so we would end up in some crazy places, just random. Sometimes, especially in Germany, they don't have a lot of hotels. You would just end up in somebody's house with a guest hof, they call it. And it would just be somebody's house with a shared toilet. And then you'd get a room and, you'd eat dinner with the family. And it just was so delightful because it's so random and so much more personal than a big old hotel.
Right. Right.
So my mother taught me to have all these adventures. So I thought this is probably going to be the beginning of me starting up these adventures of just randomly just going places and checking it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So now, the people that the house that you're staying in, was there any type of paranormal activity that they knew about or anything? Did you ask them?
I haven't asked them because they're pretty conservative people, like they're professors. And so I thought, well, in the first night I was like, oh my God, they put me in the basement. So I'm like, that's like the last place I want to sleep. I mean, it's been renovated, but I'm like, I'm in a basement. Oh my God. But I have slept so comfortably. There's no window, so it's pitch black. It's not for everyone, but my room is pitch black. I sleep here. The bed's really comfortable. And I'm like, well, should I break out the ghost hunting equipment and try to stir something up in their house?
I
Should
wouldn't do
leave it
that.
alone?
No.
Should I talk to anything? I mean, I don't feel it's haunted, but it's hard to tell because the house, I'm still getting used to all the little weird sounds and creaks. And of course, the dogs are running upstairs. So I hear footsteps all the time. But I know it's the dogs. So I'm not sure even if something was going on, I could tell.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, we got to go on break.
All right.
We'll be right back in 2 minutes, everyone.
Ooh.
Everyone, this is Jerry and of course Valentina with the Calling 2.0. Now, hey, if you're looking for some great entertainment, especially the paranormal kind, why not just log in to www.paraxradionetwork.com. Save that and just check out everything they got. They've got just tons of fun stuff. We have our show, of course, and to listen to our show, if you've missed it and you want to hear it, you can go to www.thecallingradioshow.com, or you can go to The Calling Radio Show on YouTube. And there we have our latest stuff. Now, we do the show now in audio, but we're taping it at the same time. So when you go to see that at YouTube or at our website, there we are. We're live.
Yes.
We're
in your kitchen.
Exactly.
Wherever
But
you.
Also at ParaX, the show right after us, stick around for. It's Exploring the Paranormal with Shauna of Geeks Paranormal. There's just tons of shows. Tuesday night is one that I always listen to, and that's Stephanie and Heidi with The Gathering. That's at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and only at www.paraxradionetwork.com. Okay, so if you missed it, the first half, we're talking with Valentina as her and her little baby girl, Aura, they went on a trip. They're up in, tell me the name of it again.
Castine, Maine.
Maine, and she's doing some house/dog/cat/dead hummingbird sitting, and she's having a great time at it. So yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just have to do something new and different and daring, and I'm notorious for that. I don't know these people. I don't know Maine. I don't know anything. I've never made the drive up the coast like this, but I thought it would be a fun chance to try some of these New England states, as I call it, and just check it out and see what it's about.
Right. Most definitely.
Yes.
So there. Okay, let's see here.
Any questions?
That's what I was just going to say.
Oh, wow.
You and I were both made to be here. So, there's one person in the chat room I don't see. Todd. He's in so much trouble.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. We're going to make fun of him. But to the point when, that's when we get, fine cookies, which is going to have to go to UV.
Cookies.
Yeah. If we are bad, stuff like that, we can find cookies from Cece, and then you have to send them to her. It's your turn to do it. So. So you're like, yeah, right.
Cookies. I made cookies this afternoon. I brought some those little pre-made. You just put the little dough down, and but they're healthy, organic ones. They're really good. But yeah, I already made cookies in the house.
What's different in organic and then the ones that you can get?
Yeah, more natural ingredients. Like maybe it's not butter, it's something else, and not white flour, but almond flour. So it's just healthier ingredients, so it's not so sugary and buttery and bad for you.
But that's what tastes good.
These taste even better. You don't even miss the. I'll have to send you a picture of the. There's this one company
So
that.
what do you mean a picture? Send me some.
No, like a picture of the.
Right, I get it.
You can get them at Target. It's got a girl's name, but anyway, she makes these really, really, really good organic cookies. So, I mean, if you're gonna cookies are bad anyway, so if I can feel less bad about something that, because it's healthier, then I'd rather do that.
Gotcha. So now, how long are you there at the place?
1 entire month.
1 entire month. Okay. Can you handle it?
It's so funny. I was like, woo, whole month here in Maine. And I mean, I can't go for walks now because it's raining. It's been pretty much drizzly and raining. And so I'm like, man, okay. I did bring 10 books and my fire stick and some other things to entertain myself. But I'm like, man, if it's raining, that's already taking half of it away because, you can't go for walks. I could get around in the car and drive around and look, but it's still, you can't get out. So that's already going to cut some of the entertainment in half. However, the good news is that I did bring my paranormal book to work on, and I have an inkling that I might actually finish it and it'll go to the publisher, because I will have 30 days inside to sit here and focus and not be distracted. And just like all great authors out of Maine, perhaps just like Stephen King, I can finish my book here in Maine. So I'm really excited. I'm going to use him to be inspired and hope that I can, just like Stephen King.
Well, just like Stephen King, how many hits of acid are you going to do?
Oh, wow, man.
No, seriously, that's what he said to get through some of his books. He took hallucinogenic pills.
I love it. Yeah, I mean,
I love it. I love it, man. Yeah, it's just
I love it, man. Yeah, I can't feel my face. No. Well, I mean, Prince even, said that he wrote most of his music when he was high. So, whatever sparks your creativity. I can probably just eat cookies. Some organic cookies and I'll be high. But yeah, so I think this is going to be lovely. I can sit here and be inspired and really get in deep with my book and finish my paranormal book. And then maybe before the year's over, you guys can all read it.
There you go.
All right. Yes.
Awesome.
But yeah, this is day 1 of an entire 30 days. So we'll see how I'm doing next week. Help me. No.
Yeah, you'll probably be saying that when the dogs get a little bit too, or the cat.
I think the dogs are going to have gummies.
I told you that I tried a gummy, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I told them that.
First
I tried.
You will ever do that.
I will never do it again. I tried it so I can get some sleep, and it really messed me up. I mean, I did get good sleep, but the next morning I had a hard time standing up. And then when I did get up, cottonmouth was so bad, it was unbelievable. And it wasn't because I'm some kind of degenerate to drugs or nothing. I did it because they said that they will help you sleep.
Right. No, I mean, a lot of people, I give there's dog gummies. They're not gummy. Obviously, they're just little nuggets for dogs. But I mean, they use them for dogs to help them sleep. They're good for kids to calm anxiety and stuff. It's just, but yeah, it takes getting used to. It's just the next day you're pretty hungover. So plan a day and a half of like not doing anything after you take gummies.
Right.
For sure.
Crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, so your book now, let's talk about your book for a second.
Well, yeah, that's that book that I started in 2011.
2011?
Yeah. It's
Wow.
going to be one hell of a book when it's finished. Because, yeah, heck. Sorry. one heck of a book when it's finished, because what started out was just going to be a paranormal book, was, you know, the beginning of me getting into ghosts and ghost hunting and everything. And every time I tried to finish the book, and I'm like, okay, that's it, just 12 chapters, I'm done, something else would happen that needed to go in the book. And then there was another chapter. Now it's at like 24 chapters.
Wow.
And it would have been finished, except I decided to make it a semi-autobiographical book as well, and introduce in my life as well. So that gave it a whole new direction. Not only is it going to, you know, be an autobiography about me, but also the ghost hunting and the paranormal is going to be. So intertwining those has taken a little more time, because I had to go from the beginning of the chapter and now incorporate little bits and pieces of myself into those stories. So once that's finished, then it goes to the publisher and the editor, because I want my first book to be perfect. I think that's also why it's taken so long, because it's my first book. I don't want it to be just rushed. You know, it's made with love.
Right.
It is going to be really, really good. It's going to be pretty scary. These are all my first encounters of interactions with ghosts, and they're all pretty remarkable. So it's definitely going to be a good read, and I will let you know when that's all finally finished. I got to stop at some point and just make a part 2, because the book is like, the book will become like the Winchester Mystery House. I'll just keep writing and writing and writing. It'll never end. So
then all of a sudden your fan base has died off.
Yeah,
and you're 103.
They got tired.
I'm done with it now.
I'm tired of waiting for that book. Yeah, it's coming. It's on its way. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be a page turner.
Excellent. I will be the first one to buy your book. And speaking of books, okay, Sim, I've been trying after my team forever of starting a book about the team members. So everybody would talk about first their lives and how the supernatural built in with them. And then the second half would be everybody now being with Sim and now their beliefs and all that stuff. And I wanted to call it the Book of Sim. And I really want to do it still, but you know, I guess I'm up for it. You know, I've been writing notes for the past 6 years now on certain things that had happened and stuff, but you know, and plus paranormal was put into that too. I just think that you know, one thing that it's so interesting, I think, especially when we have people on and we talk about how they got started, you know, such as you know, when they were a little kid, what happened? Did they have a grandma or grandpa or an aunt or an uncle or something like that was into the paranormal? How did they, you know, I'd love to know people's first experiences when they're kids, because I feel that actually builds a person. You know what I mean?
Right.
It builds in the paranormal way, which the paranormal way is to believe in what you see and what you can do, or don't believe it whatsoever. And that usually comes from parents. So a kid that sees stuff, is talking to stuff and everything else, and a parent finally shuts them down. And then that's where they no longer believe in it. So, but they believed it heartily in the beginning, and then everything went bad from there.
Well, I kind of got in an argument. Well, not, you know, it's a social media argument, so I don't know how big an argument it is. But somebody mentioned something about, do kids see spirits? And I had to explain that kids on their own see spirits up until approximately age 9. If they do see spirits, they usually stop at that point because their parents have told them, stop, there's nothing imaginary. You know, the parents generally, they hear it so much that there's nothing there, that the parents shut it down. So about age 9, the kid eventually hears that so much they shut it out, and then they no longer have that gift of, sensitivity or psychic abilities or whatever. They can see the spirits. And somebody was like, "Oh, well, how do you explain it? A 14-year-old sees the spirit, or I'm an adult, I can see spirits." Because, yeah, you would have to start it back up again and open back up. But generally, kids close off if they have parents that are constantly telling them, "No, it's your imagination. You're not seeing anything." The gifts start diminishing. And that's all I was trying to explain. But the person didn't really understand what I was trying to explain, which was that, yes, you can start up your gifts again, but it's going to take more work to get them back. It's natural when you're a child up until the point the parent says, "No, it doesn't exist. Stop it."
And it's so funny is that at that same age, of the age of 9, is when kids stop believing. I'm changing it just for a moment. We'll
Yeah.
get back on track. Is when kids start believing in what some parents say about race. And next thing you know, racism is born at that time. But when kids are born, they don't have nothing to do with
Exactly.
being racist. Like everything is just my friend this, my friend that.
Yeah.
Until all of a sudden the parents will say something derogatory about one of their friends. "Where's that guy?" It's like, what? And the next thing you know, that stuff happens like that.
Well, I mean, children are born into this world completely innocent, completely open-hearted, open-minded,
Yeah.
open everything. And then in comes bad parenting and changes that course and suddenly makes the child stop and think, "Okay, don't play with that child because he's white or he's brown or he's freckly or he's fat or he's thin," and suddenly now you are making differentiations for children that didn't have them before and making them think. And instead of just let them be clueless and let them be, because at that point ignorance is bliss and it's wonderful. And that goes for ghosts, that goes for living people. They're just running around in wonderment, and like this is a playground. And then in come these parents that suddenly label everything, and now the children have to think and decide and judge, and that's where it all falls apart.
It's interesting with that. Okay, now we're going to go back to the paranormal. Is that I wonder if that happens on the other side, which again, we're not going to know until we die.
Well, we can
Uh,
know beforehand. We can just ask, but what's
you
what?
can ask, but you don't know if what the answer's coming through is real.
No, I mean, but what are you asking exactly? If the other side judges, or
Yeah, if the other side judges and stuff.
no,
I mean,
no.
some people say no, they don't because, on a Christian belief and stuff. Um, what if somebody, uh, somebody young has passed and they have not gone over yet, so they haven't crossed over to God, to heaven or whatever, but yet they're in limbo. And can they, have that type of attitude? Because maybe something happened with, like they're a white person or they're a black person, and they were killed with a different colored person. You know what I mean?
No, well, once you die, you just become a soul. So you're everyone and no one. I mean, you're black, white, yellow, orange, green, purple. You're everybody. So you're just a soul. So there is no racism. There is no judgment. You can't. The universe is only full of love. So there's no room for judgment or anything else. Now, if you're in limbo or you're earthbound and walking the earth, you're not really in a physical body anymore. You're kind of the outline of it. You're more of a soul. So you're kind of neither here nor there. I mean, you're more likely to be a little judgmental down here because you're earthbound, So you're still in that human body, which of course you have Like, I'm sure if you went ghost hunting somewhere and you went to let's say a plantation and you were white, the ghost might still react that way because he's in his human body. He may not like you. And then let's say maybe I go there and they see my skin is brown and they might be a little more friendly to me. Because I've been to like brothels, or what was a brothel, and had a ghost be friendly with me and a little fresh, if you know what I mean. And so
No, explain it. Oh, I'm
that's-
kidding. I'm kidding.
so clearly that type of behavior is not angelic and ethereal and, you know, of the universe, because that's lusty. And so that tells you that that is still a human trait, which would make them more human than ethereal.
Interesting. Guess I never thought of it like that. You know,
Yeah,
that's
but
pretty
the thought,
interesting.
the thoughts up in there are nothing but positivity and love, and hate to be cliche, but light. So any kind of ill will is not the kind of thing you're going to get from a spirit that has crossed over. So that would be coming from an earthbound. And that's how you'll know
Right.
if you walk in and you're ghost hunting and you're getting kind of animosity or anger, or the ghost feels angry, the ghost is still here. You know, that is not you're not interacting with something that is up there. You know,
Gotcha. Yep.
so
Interesting.
even like a sad ghost, if you walk in and you're like, this feels sad, that's because the ghost is stuck here. Those are all emotions that are tied to earthbound ghosts and things that are not crossed over.
Right. Sorry. Here we go.
Let me see here.
So we're down to just a few minutes left and stuff. There's really no questions.
You guys were so quiet today. That's okay.
May is putting on her own interview,
Yeah.
which is fine. So one thing I want to tell you guys what's going on September 30th in St. Cloud, Minnesota, at the Armory. There is a paranormal expo. The expo is put on by Squatchers, which is now called Cryptid Chicks, and by Search for Spirits, and by Supernatural Investigators in Minnesota. And all three of us combined are Minnesota Para Connection. And we're putting this on. We have tons of vendors. It's only $7 to get into. We're selling jewelry and totes and all that fun. We have speakers, of course. It's going to be just a heck of a time. Now, if you're a team and you're interested in getting a table, tables are only $40.
What?
Yeah, it's cheap. Or 2 tables for $60.
Okay, you
Yep.
don't want to miss out on that, you guys.
That's a deal and a half.
And sell your goodies there.
Yep, exactly. That'll be a lot of fun.
Bigfoot beef jerky. No.
Oh, that's just wrong. Coming from a vegan. Oh my God.
I just wanted to see if you're awake.
I may look tired.
Yeah,
Oh,
if it
man.
was Bigfoot jerky, that would cost like $100 a bag.
Not
Maybe-
even 100, a couple thousand.
yeah, that would be
bag.
like this big.
And
tub.
besides that, that's sort of like being a cannibal, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is
If they're
Bigfoot bringing
bipedal,
meat? Join us next week.
oh my God.
No, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's funny. But no, it's going to be a fun time. I wished you could have been there, V.
Yeah, I saw you made that flyer and you snuck it out there, and I'm like, I never even got one invite from you. I think you just kind of like planned it on a day I couldn't come, because last year I was
No,
there and last year I didn't go, and you're like, well, let's make sure you're here for 2023. And what do? You plan another one without me.
no. I did ask you about it, and you did have plans.
Yeah, because
for
you
it,
always
yeah.
pick these weird dates.
Those even days. Why can't it be an odd one?
Yeah, like on a Monday.
Oh God, who would go on a Monday?
Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm kidding. Hey, I don't want to forget to thank Sarge, our wonderful, wonderful producer, the producer with the most, and all the troops listening. Thank you so, so much.
Yep, and good old Para X. We have such a good time, and it's, we've been here on Para X for such a long time. I mean, V, you've only been for a year now, haven't you?
What?
Has it been a year since you've been
The host?
the host?
No,
Host?
I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
3-4 months.
It has been longer than that. You not it.
All right, we'll look back at the archives. I'll
We'll
dust
look-
them off at the Library of Congress.
Well, we'll get back to everybody next week on that. Now, next week's going to be an interesting show. We actually are going to have Winifred Schrader on, which is Dave Schrader's wife. She's going to be at the Paranormal Expo. She's got a table and she's going to be doing tarot card readings. So she's going to be on with us, and we're going to talk about tarot card reading. We're going to talk about what kind of dirt we can get on Dave.
Not Dave,
Just
DD.
kidding.
DOD.
You know, Dave, what DOD?
Dirt on Dave, DOD.
Dirt on Dave.
Yes, I do know Dave Schrader. He's been a good friend of mine since 2010. So
Oh, wow, long
13
time.
years, yeah.
Well, we can get some dirt on him, or dirt on you, maybe.
I don't tell on my friends. Friends never tell on friends.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a
That's
good
going to be
time.
great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. And that's, I just can't wait to look forward to getting on the Paranormal Expo. That's going to be just a blast. But anyway, like V said, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Para X. Sarge, you are extraordinary. And thanks for everybody for listening.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all next week.
Woo!
Be careful. Drive careful. Peace.